What's up, everybody? What is up, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? I got my headset on. We're about to watch some accident stuff. You guys excited about that? You guys can pretty much see how the process I go through. I mean, without all the editing. Typically, when I make these videos, I make an actual video. So you're going to see kind of the process, how I talk about things, what I look for, and the goal of this is, once again, so everybody understands. What's up, Lion? How you doing? So everybody understands, we are trying to find what happened that was good. We're also trying to find out what happened that is bad, which is going to be a lot of the obvious stuff. And then we're going to see what we can do to remedy that, to mitigate the risk, to use that information for ourselves. That's the point. Okay. So a lot of the problems that we see when it comes to anything in the world and anything, what's up, Mark? How you doing? Anything like with these crashes, it's super easy to pick out what went wrong. And that is great. But let's actually utilize that information. Let's not say, hey, well, he did a wheelie or he went too wide in that. Oh, what an idiot. Or not even saying idiot, but just like, oh, he went too wide. And then that's it. Like, but there, we didn't learn anything. You know, like, well, why did he go wide? You know, why did he crash and he went wide? Because you can go wide and not crash. There's a few things like that. So let's utilize the information we're seeing, these scenarios, these what ifs. Pretend it's a what if for you. Like, what if I went too wide? What if I tried to do a wheelie? What if I accidentally slammed the brakes too hard? You know, put yourself in the shoes of these people and learn from them. And that's the great thing about YouTube, is we can actually do that. Okay. What's up, Benjamin? You saved my life the other day. I almost got into wreck. It wasn't for you, I would be dead. Dude. You gave me chills, dude. Ooh, you gave me chills, man. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. I would love to hear more about that. So if you want to write it in the chat, or if you want to write it in the Discord. So the Discord's absolutely free. So we're gonna go to screen capture real quick. The Discord is absolutely free. I'm gonna move this over here. This is the Discord. So if you'd like to join the Discord, please do so. It's absolutely free. And it's a great way to hang out with other people. The Discord is 1,600 plus human beings, and I got an unknown caller. I freaking hate. I get so many of these. Oh yeah, did you DM me, huh? You DM me. I swear that was you. Second, we go back. Did you DM me? I don't remember seeing it. Maybe I didn't. Did you? Did you DM to me the right one? What's your name on the Discord? So anyways. I think I mean I got an email from somebody, but well, thank you. All right, we're gonna move into this. Send it my way, man, if you can. Let me scroll this down a little bit. David. Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me go back. I'll have to look at it up. I'll have to look it up later. So we're gonna jump into this, guys. We're gonna jump into this. If you're able to learn to lesson the moment you don't learn, it's the moment you make the mistake. Exactly. So we're gonna move into this one. So as you can tell, we got Moto Lunatic. So this actually just came out a couple days ago. And what I do is I look at the accident, and then I kind of go over it, and I figure out what happened, what went wrong, what went right, and then we have a learning moment. So this is great. Let's go and watch this one. I haven't seen this yet. I seriously have not seen this yet. We're gonna go through it together. Aww. Oh, front tires. Wow, like 17 views. I just spilled.
Sake. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing's damaged. You okay?
Yeah, just pissed off.
Yep. It's pretty much the reaction everybody gets is that you get pissed off. So we're gonna go up to this. Obviously it's gonna be multiple camera angles and everything. That's the same mic. So that mic right there, that's the same mic I got right here. It's a very good mic. It's a Rode Video Mic Pro. All right, so this is a bad angle. We're gonna go to the next one. Okay, so this angle right here is a pretty good one. So road surface, yeah, it's a gravel issue. So when you go over gravel a little bit too quick, let me scale back. Let me go back. When you go over gravel too slow and with your tires kind of turned, that's when you're gonna start having an issue. If you're trying to turn when you're on gravel at that slow speed, it's gonna slide out from underneath you. So we're gonna go ahead and watch it in half speed right here. And what happens is that there's this gravel line. Anybody remember the setting for your mouse on Windows to, like, if you hold control it shows like a big old button? Let me go, let's see, mouse settings, that way you guys can see. I wonder how to do that. Additional mouse options, highlight or drag without holding down the mouse button, lets you highlight or drag pointers. Pointer shadow. No, I don't want to do pointer shadow. How do I do it? Display pointer trails. No. Oh, show. Look, I found it. All right. Is that there? You go. Kind of like that. Does that work for you? Okay. So what happens here is that you're gonna have a bunch of gravel in that area right there. So you're gonna have a bunch right here. I think that's kind of how it works. Anyways, you're gonna have gravel on here. It's gonna be a transition from the street. This is actually a nice street to the gravel-ish area, and you're gonna have problems when it comes to that. So you're gonna have to go over it as straight as possible. What's happening here is you're going all the way from one side, and you're gonna see her tire. So you can see her slow down and tire, quite possibly applying a little bit of brake, front brake, which is gonna cause even more of a traction loss. Remember, when you're accelerating, turning, and braking, so acceleration, deceleration, and turning, you are using traction on your tire. And when you are using traction on your tire, you cannot add more stuff to it. So when you add gravel, which is going to be a reduction of traction, and you're already using 100%, it's going to make you wash out. For this one, oh, no problem, Big Cat, no problem. So right here, you're going to see I slowed it down. You're going to see the tire switch, or like turn, right there. Oh, you guys can't see it very well. There we go. Let's go back just a little bit. So watch the tire. As soon as it touches this, I'm going to go ahead and slow it down a little bit more. It won't let me do it. Oh, shift. There you go. Shift. So you're going to see the tire transition right here. That's so fun. See all this dirt? You're going to see it. Watch. So you're going over it. She's looking this way towards the camera. That's going to be the dip. Okay. That is caused by trying to turn the tire at that last second. So right here we're straight, but we're at a lean angle. She's at a lean angle to make it off the road. Okay. She's at a lean angle to make it off the road, and it's a very minor lean angle, but this gravel, you see this gravel on the bottom? That gravel coupled with that lean angle with her trying to slow down, possibly applying some front brake. I see 2 fingers on that front brake. And when she goes, she's going to, let's go ahead and scroll back a little bit more, 5 seconds, so you can watch it. So let's go even more. So she's going to be at a lean angle, just very slightly, with that hand on the front brake going on to transition of gravel. And we're going to watch her do it again. You see that? That right there is the tires losing traction. And for a split second, you're going to see it grab traction again. It's going to go straight. So it just straightened up again, and it almost catches itself. She puts her foot down as a natural instinct, which is probably what everyone's going to do, and it pops her back up. Grabs. Now she's grabbing everything. You see right here on her hand, she's grabbing everything. So when she reached back, she, instead of grabbing the handlebars, she grabbed everything that was there, which is going to be the front brake, which is going to cause her to drop the bike. There's everything. See how, oh, let me get that away. See it, how there's, geez, you guys can't see it. So she's grabbing absolutely everything right there. And there's the stop. That's why she fell. So, like I said, we're going over what happened. We're going over what happened. Now, how can we use that information? So watch it again from this other point of view. So let's look at where her head is. Okay, so right now we're centered up on the bike. Our body position, body weight, everything is centered on the bike. We have a really good center of balance right here. Then you're gonna see her get over to the right like she's doing a turn, which is gonna be right here on the debris. So right now, if we just go straight, we're gonna go straight this way, and that's fine. But we're actually gonna start to turn, and then we're gonna lose traction. See right here, we're turning. See where the body position is now? Her head is more so to the right, which is going to put a little bit more weight. And then she's going to grab the front brake. But let's take a quick note. So what went right in this situation? Okay, what went right? The simple fact that she has absolutely full gear, that went right. Full PPE, personal protective equipment, amazing. The rev bomb, so techno bobber, I don't know if that's a joke because we always talk about rev bombing, but the rev bomb is when she went to grab the bike and she started falling. She just started rotating her hand, and it just caused the engine RPMs to go up. But right here, she's got sliders, so that's good. It's going to protect most of the body, but you can see right here how she has, right there, how she has her exhaust on the ground. So the exhaust is going to get a little bit damaged. Her pegs are going to get damaged. But she has sliders right here, guys. She has sliders. That's really good. You know, David, I think she's ready for the road. I think she is. It was just a simple mistake. I mean, this happens to some people. I think she's ready for the road. So watch her get off to a lean. She's kind of... Oh. There's the grab of the front brake, and watch her stop. Here, I'm going to go back. So she's going to go in, and she's going to grab the front brake when she goes back in. That's when she stops. There it is.
Sake. Okay. Wait.
So you can see the bar end sliders right here, and then you can actually see the engine sliders also. It looks like she has axle sliders right here on the top right on her front axle, and more than likely she has spools right here, but then she more than likely has rear axle sliders. So she's got all the protection. If anything, it's just ego that is bruised.
It's okay. It's okay. Nothing's damaged. You okay?
Yeah, just pissed off.
And that's the typical reaction you're going to have when you drop a bike like that. So the transition from street to gravel to street again, you're going to have a loss of traction. So let's watch at the entry angle of this. So the entry angle on this one, what I would do, especially if there's no traffic, this is a blind turn, so it's actually pretty scary. What I would do approaching this, I would not take it at a high rate of speed. You can already tell there's a different color to this road than this road. What I would do is I'd come up as wide as possible up on the left side right here, and I'd be checking my mirrors, and I'd make sure nobody's behind me. And I would open up the view. I'd go way up here so that I can see what's coming up past this tree. And if there's nobody around, I am going to take this turn nice and easy, nice and wide. So what I'm going to try my best to do is I'll come up to here. I'll be up in this area still. And then I would do a very nice sharp turn, which will make it go wide, and I'd go as straight as possible over this. That's what I would be doing. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking at the camera part to be right. Yeah, so that's one of those things. So if we take away, that's a good point, David. So when we talk about how to remove different hazards and different factors to a crash. So this is a crash. It's a very minor, low-speed crash, but it is a crash. If we take away certain factors, like for you, like you just said, the camera part. If we took away this person right here with the camera, we might not be taking this at a sharp turn. Okay. Also, if we were making sure that we were by, we're by ourselves, we're making sure that there's nobody around here, we're taking our time to focus on the traffic, possible traffic, would probably take it a little bit wider. But yeah, definitely the fact that we have cameras here, we're trying to look good, we're looking at the camera, not looking at the road, it does play into that aspect. One thing that you can do is that if you do have people taking pictures and stuff, that's perfectly fine, but let's focus on the road. You know, like let's try our best to ignore cameras. And that's what I do when I'm filming on the bike. I ignore the camera, I ignore everything. I'm just riding, I'm just talking and verbalizing stuff out loud, kind of like what I'm doing right now. Same thought process, but that would make you less visible for cars over there, Dan. So what am I, yeah, a bit more break. Are you talking about like going over, let me scroll back a little bit. Are you talking about being over on the left side, make you less visible for cars? Is that what you're saying? Because remember, we're on the left side, so this is a different area. Because like in America, we'd be on the right side, so then you would have a better view around here. So if we're right here, the only people that would be coming behind you, yeah. So the people coming behind you would be in your mirror. So if there's nobody behind me, I'd slow it down and take my time, and then I'd open my view, which would be, it's hard to see because the camera, I keep forgetting to go back one frame. So right now, let's go back. So if I start making my turn like right here, if I start to make my turn right here, this tree, this big tree is blocking my line of sight. I cannot see anybody coming around here. So if I'm slowing down, I'm focusing on the mirror on my right and on my left, nobody's behind me, great. So I'm gonna keep going because I can't see around this big tree, but my goal is over here on the right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move up forward. Now I can see everything. Now I'm not making a decision yet until I can see if there's any movement. So just like in the wilderness and in the wild, animals, they see movement. So for us specifically, somebody calling me. So for us specifically, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to keep an eye out for any type of movement. And if I don't see any movement, I have a feeling that this is going to be open. So I'm over here, nobody's behind me, everything's open, then I go. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. Yeah, I think she started in the left lane. If we can go back. Yeah, so she started in the left lane way over here. Yeah. I mean, there's different hazards. I mean, you could definitely take this turn super fast, but it'd be very dangerous. So you can actually take this turn. Let's say your line of sight or your line for this turn is going to go straight towards the dude. Like you're straight towards the guy, and that's fine. You could do that. So you're straight on, but then once you get into this area, once you get into here, you really need to be careful because you're going to have loss of traction. Yeah, definitely could have been a new rider. I agree with that. Definitely could have been a new rider, and whoever is in charge of her training,
Okay.
which I'm assuming,
Wait.
like let's just say the guy right now with the camera is her boyfriend or husband or friend or whoever. She has been mentored really well, and here's why I say that. She has gear for the bike. She has full gear for herself, so she's got full protective equipment, personal protective equipment, and bike protective equipment. That is huge. People will make mistakes. You will drop the bike, you will find a situation where you mess up, and that's going to happen. That's why I got Nikki the same stuff. I got her an engine guard, I got her full gear before she started riding, and I got an exhaust slider now to protect her exhaust. It's going to happen. It's just mistakes can happen. I should take that back. I should take it's going to happen away because it didn't happen to me. But, you know, knock on wood here. But here's the thing, is it greater chance it's going to happen. I personally am like, I'm going to say I'm a scaredy cat. So when I'm out riding, I'm making sure I'm taking everything almost extremely cautious, like crazy cautious.
Wait a minute. Wait. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing's damaged. You okay?
Yeah, just pissed off.
All right, let's watch this one. Another gravel. Okay. Yep. Okay. Turn those handlebars. There you go. Good job. Oh, we've seen this one. This one is actually a video, an actual video I did, so we might see that different. Oh yeah, oh, did it go away? Yep, it went away. There we are. There we are. Let's refresh it. There we go. 4161, guys. If you guys are wondering what, all the way next to the chat where it says Tom Burr's name and it says sponsor me 4161 out of 10,000, that is for the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. I'm raising money for prostate cancer research and men's mental health. Okay. Let's if you want to help support that or participate in the ride, it's happening in Tucson, September 29th, this Sunday. So help me raise some money, guys. If we hit 5,000 by Sunday, I'll put $500 in. All right, so let's watch this again.
Just pissed off.
The biggest problem I'm going to have with this one is that I really want to see what his right hand looks like, and you can't see it because of the camera angle. I want to see if he applied front brake. I can't tell unless the only other thing I can see other than the hand movement is if the front end dips a little bit right before the drop. How to get back pain, worst way to lift your bike. Yep. Let's go back real quick. So how this guy right here up front transitioned from this road to this, the parking lot was really good. So how this guy transitioned to over here is really good. You see how straight on he's going to go in. So let's go and scroll back just a little bit. So that's the moment right there he's going to move in. See how he slowed down a lot. He didn't have any traffic coming this way. His buddy was behind him, so he's not rushed whatsoever. He went in almost perpendicular. That's exactly how you're supposed to handle it when there's gravel. If there's gravel all up in here, he's doing perfectly fine. He's going over it straight. I treat gravel along these roads, especially like, you know, on any entrance or exits of, like, you know, parking lots, like anything. I treat it like it's a rail track. Okay, I treat it like it's train tracks and stuff like that. I'm going to go over it as straight as possible. Okay, now we're going to go really wide. So he's decided to go out this way and go really wide instead of kind of making a smooth arc. So now what's happening, if you're going to make this really wide sharp turn now, because you're going to have to make a sharp turn or you're going to run into the wall over here. Now you have to make a sharp turn, and when you make a sharp turn on anything that's slippery, whether it's just gravel, rocks, water, ice, whatever it is, you're going to have some issues. Mark, see you later, man. I will go with her bike. So when you do that, you're going to have, you're using a lot more turning, a lot more cornering. You reduced your acceleration by adding some deceleration. So you have deceleration, and then you have a lot of turning that's using up a lot of your traction on your tires. When you have that coupled with this, you're gonna have issues. Okay, so same thing. If you're accelerating way too fast and then all of a sudden you apply the brakes really too fast, that's too much for the 100% of your tire traction. You're gonna do 120%. Boom, you're gonna wash out. Same thing if you're cornering and you're using 90% of your tire traction for cornering. All of a sudden you use about 20% of acceleration or braking. Boom, that's 110%. You washed out. So same thing's happening here. He's using a lot of traction to make this turn. And I can't tell if he applied the front brake or not, but that's the moment it drops. Typically, the only time it drops like that when you're going in a straight line is when you dump the, or when you grab the front brake and dump the bike. When you are in the middle of a turn and it drops out like this, your front tire, it's usually because of a loss of traction because of something external, like the gravel. So there's probably a ton of gravel here. It's going to be pixelated for everybody because that's just the way YouTube compression works and everything. Let's see if I can make it 1080p. Same thing. It's not much of a difference. So we're going to have issues with that. So it's going to be a lot of gravel. So when you have gravel in a parking lot or anything like that, you want to make everything smooth, wide arcs. You don't want to go straight while you're in gravel and then sharp turn and go right. Okay, let's go back. Let's go to me real quick. So you don't want to be going into your turn like he's going, and then it's like I have to go wide when it's gravel on the ground and then do that. You don't want to do that. You want to make nice, smooth turns. Now, when you go from no gravel to a street with gravel like the guy did with the parking lot, you're going to go straight, and then you're on really good traction. Here's the gravel over here, okay? Here we go. So here's the gravel over here. You're going straight, and then you do it, and then you go straight onto the gravel. Okay, when you're on gravel, so now everything I'm doing is on gravel. If you do this on gravel and you try to make it straight like that, it's going to dump and fall. On gravel, you're going to want to go straight, wide arc, and go. Unless you're using some form of counterbalance. And I don't think he's using any on this one. Let's go back just a little bit. Watch how he falls down. Okay, so he's going to have his arm go down first. Now, that's usually going to be the shoulder and elbow hitting first, and then the wrist and hand. See how his arm hit first? And especially his elbow. That is why you need to have armor in your jackets, guys. That right there could shatter an elbow. That right there could break a lot of stuff. Just a small fall like that. It's a lot of force. So when it's time to pick up your bike, what he's doing is he starts to lift it up, and then he's like, oh wait, I got to put the side stand down. So he puts the side stand down. That's perfect. Before you lift the bike up, put the side stand down. And then how he's starting to lift it up here, you'll see it real quick. I'll pause it on that one. Okay, so right there, he pushed it up off the side and until the tires touched. Okay, so he lifted up till the tires touched. Then he grabbed the handlebars with the tire like this and tried to lift it up. That's going to actually hinder you. So what you need to do is turn the handlebars the opposite way. So this tire, this front tire, this part right here where I'm highlighting, it's actually going to be up here. So he's going to rotate the tires because right now the handlebars are turned to the right. He needs to turn the handlebars to the left, and then from there, with all he has to do is have the side stand down and even just grab the right handle grip and lift up, deadlift. Use your legs, deadlift it up. Another way you can do it is you can turn around, get one hand on the handlebars after you're rotating the tire up, one hand on something firm on your right hand because you're facing away, and then start walking it up. I have a video on that. That type of fall shattered your elbow. Check it out. Ay, 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 ay. So I already talked about this one, so we'll just play through. Same thing, that could hurt your shoulder really bad. Looks a little pissed. We already did this one too. We'll rewatch this one. This is the thumbnail. There's the wheelie. Oh, looped it. I think the bike hit the truck. So, residential neighborhood, wide open road. I can see why this was going to be like a good spot to do a wheelie, especially if you live in the area. Actually, don't live in the area. You don't want to live in the area because then you get complaints and everything. If someone's brake lights are on because they're braking gently, you won't get any warning if they brake harder. Exactly, Grimbeard. Yep, exactly. It just happens, you know. You don't know if the person's only applying 10% brake or 100% brake. The light is the light. So yeah, on this situation, we're doing wheelies. So he's gonna loop it. He's wearing some gear. There's not much that goes on in this video other than the fact that he's practicing a skill that's very high skill, high risk, and he's doing it in a residential neighborhood. You do not have the opportunity and time to do any type of evasive maneuvers if a child runs out, if a dog runs out, if a human being walks out to get in their car, if a car is pulling out of this driveway right here behind this truck. You do not have the time. This is why I say if you're going to practice any type of stunting, do it in a closed environment, like a parking lot where everything is stopped, nobody's moving, it's after hours, whatever it is. Yes, it looks like an open road, everybody, but I have been on calls, I have been on incidents where people are just driving through a residential neighborhood and somebody just comes out and gets hit. And that could easily happen here. So that is something that you guys need to watch out for if you're going to be doing something. If you're going to do something like this, do it in a closed area. I have no problem with you guys stunting. I have no problem with any of that stuff. I think it's actually pretty cool about how much control you have over a bike. But don't do it here. Because now you just damaged somebody's truck. Real quick, I want to say congrats to Craig Glass. I'm gonna go give you a shout out, brah. Thank you for your channel. Been riding about 2 weeks and took Total Control BRC and got my license last weekend. I've put about 300 to 350 miles on my bike so far. More to come. That is awesome. Keep taking classes. If you enjoyed the Total Control BRC, see about taking an intermediate or advanced class because you're gonna learn so much more. If you're having a blast now, imagine how many tools in your toolbox or how many more tools in your toolbox that's going to add more fun to this. To me, I honestly, like I said, being fast is not my goal. Being safe, going from point A to point B as safe as possible is my goal, and I have a ton of fun doing that. I have a ton of fun going 0 to the speed limit, you know, as fast as I can through the intersection, you know, from the stop to the on the other side of the intersection if it's safe, obviously. And then I also have a ton of fun trying to take my turns as smoothly as possible and then with the best line as possible. And then I actually find it really fun to find the hazard before it even happens. You know what I mean? I have a blast. It's like playing a video game to me. So congrats, Craig. Congrats. If you are a YouTube member, give out a woo. I want to see some woos in the chat if you're a YouTube member. Let's go ahead and go back to this one. So this is at a track. Oh. Oh, in the water. All right, so one thing I kind of saw when it came to the track thing and it was about body positioning. We watched that video from Yamaha Champion Riding School. Is that since the brake lights are taped up, so brake lights are taped up along with all the other lights, all the other things, the indicators, all that stuff on a track. So when you're riding, it's hard to judge that distance and what the speed of the person is in front of you. I've never taken I'm gonna disclaimer here. I've never taken a track class. I'm just repeating what Yamaha Champion Riding School said during the body positioning, is that since there's no brake lights, it's hard to judge who's in front of you. So the guy was saying in the Yamaha Champion School is that since we don't have brake lights, to give somebody behind you like an idea of what's happening, you actually you change your body position from being tucked to raising up, and then you get into your body position. It's almost like a smooth motion where you actually sit up a little bit because you're applying the brakes, you're starting to do your trail braking, and then you kind of get into it. So when I'm looking at this right here, this guy's tucked in, and then I'm going to see him actually lift up. This is kind of a thing that usually only happens on track because you don't see the brake lights. And like I said, I'm learning more. I used to not talk about track stuff, but I'm learning a little bit more. So we're going to watch him lift up, see how he sits up. He's sitting up now. He's not tucked in. That's an indication of that he's applying the brakes. You don't see a brake light at all. The rider behind him is having a problem. He's going to have a problem. He's going to run into him. So it's one of those things that you kind of have to be careful about when you do these track days. But I'm sure you're gonna get taught that. You're gonna get taught that if you ever do a track day. I can't wait. I'm actually looking up Yamaha Champion. I already wrote it. Champion. I'm actually looking it up for near here. So let's go over here. Yamaha Champion riding school. He has a great YouTube channel, guys. If you know who this guy is, he's a great YouTube channel. Awesome stuff. So I want to do Champ Street. So there's Champ Street, Champ Day, Champ School. They're all different costs. So here's the costs associated with like Champ School. It's 2 days. It's $2,200. Yeah, that to me I can't afford yet. That's for people that really want to get into it. But yeah, so Champ School 2 day, $2,200 plus options include breakfast and lunch for both days, dinner at the night between. Champ Day 1 day, $600 plus options. I want to do Champ Street. So it's a 1 day class. And it depends on the venue and location. So there's actually one here in Willcox, Arizona, and I want to do that. Okay, so the Arizona Motorsports Park, December 7th is a Champs Day school, $600. I'm like, okay. I feel like I want to dip my toes into a track. I've never been to a track before. So what I want to do is do Champ Street. So there's a Champ Street day, and it's the same day. I'm gonna actually call them up and ask them, hey, what should I take? I'll do it. But more than likely, I want to do Champ Street because they do a lot of cool things. So December 7th, once I confirm it, I'll actually let you guys know. And if you guys want to come with me, that'd be great. I think that'd be really cool. So let me go back. Let me go back to Yamaha Champ School real quick. So Champ Street. Let's go ahead and learn more about Champ Street. Okay. So Champ Street is a street rider focused school based on Sunset Clinics, designed and taught by Nick Lenestach. Was used as a baseline for the REST, Riders Essential Skills Training Program for the United States Marine Corps. When the Marines come and ask you to resign their system because ours is better than what they have, pride gets an entirely different meaning. That's awesome. Champ Street is for any motorcycle. It comes in half and whole day versions and does not require you to have a full track of leathers. I don't have a full track of leathers. So that's kind of another reason. So no track gear required, just street safety gear. I got all that. No racers allowed, street riders and street bikes only. So I'm happy about that. I'll be taking the FTR. Can be held in a large lot or paddock. So that's going to be like a BRC type big old parking lot. And then they go on a closed course, a go-kart track, or any combination above. So at Willcox, the Arizona Motorsports, they have a track. So I'm excited about that. It's based on Harley-Davidson and YCRS military skills. No boring classroom. All on the course techniques and topics include. So this is an advanced class. This is advanced class. So techniques and topics include trail braking, bike dynamics, traction study, mental approach and visual techniques of champions, mid-corner stops, on-track changes that mimic the real world. I'm excited about that. So it can go as high as $500 if a track rental is required. I'm going to bring my own bike, so it's probably not going to be that much. It's probably going to be about like $250. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to bring what I learned back to you guys. And then if I get advanced or intermediate questions, I can answer them in an advanced, intermediate way. And if I get a beginner question, I can utilize what I believe is the appropriate thing for that. So I'm excited about that. I'm really excited about that. I don't know why it says woo. That's not what I wrote. Well, I'm excited about that, and I'm just learning more and more and more, and I want to bring more and more to you guys, because the more I know, the more my accident videos, and I kind of want to change it from accident videos to, oh, Ivan, welcome to the YouTube membership, guys. Welcome. So Ivan became a YouTube member. What that is that right there. Become a YouTube member during the stream and get a shout out. So I'm super happy about that, dude. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. It might be 119 miles per hour. It might be, but I think the digital speedo. Let me go back to right when he. So 120. It says like 126 on my screen. So yeah, 115, 119. That quite possibly could be miles per hour. It quite possibly could be. I have a better inkling of kilometers. I think it's kilometers. I think it's kilometers. It's still like I think that's like 80 miles per hour. I think that's 80 miles per hour. That's still pretty fast. Still pretty fast. These are things that I want to like learn, so that when I do, like I said, accident stuff, I really want to change it to, excuse me. I really want to change these accident videos to what if scenarios. So like we're gonna talk about a what if scenario. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bro. Oh. Sorry, that I'm not making that clicky noise. It's this. You're in gear. There. Just pull the clutch in and walk it. Get out of the road. That's okay. Well, this guy is probably gonna crash and have a bad day. Bobby, what happened? Yeah, this is live. This is live now. Let's go back. Poor bike. It says 0 miles per hour now. Let's go back just a little bit. Let's see what that first sign says. So I'm gonna let this sit here for a while. Why does it say 9? For those that this guy is from, it says EDU Rider Motovlog. So can somebody help me out with this? I'm not familiar with these signs. I would love to learn from you guys. I mean, obviously this one, I think common sense says that this means that there's a barrier here. Anybody want to help me out with the 9s? So we saw this guy crash, and I need you guys to understand, focus. Use the signs, use the roadway signs as a clue. Just a clue, okay? Just a clue. It might say, take this turn at 25 miles an hour, and it's a 45-mile-an-hour road. It says, take it at 25. To me, that says, hey, there's a reduction in the speed limit, and it's there for a reason. It's usually because of the curve or whatever it is. I'm going to understand that, and I will take this turn a little bit easier, and if it becomes easy while I'm in the middle of the turn, I'll take it like I normally would, you know? It means best gear for this is 9. As European route mark. Oh, okay. European route marker. Okay. So, another thing. Oh, let's go back a little bit more. So right here, we got chevrons. So these chevrons indicate, hey, sharp turn ahead, sharp turn ahead, sharp turn ahead. That is important. Now, a lot of people say, oh, this is fun. Sharp turn ahead is fun. I agree with that. Sharp turns are fun. So this is why I say when I ride, I want to get from point A to point B as safe as possible. That's how I have my fun. A lot of people have their fun by going as fast as possible. That's perfectly fine. Do your thing. Make sure you have the skill associated with it. For me, I want to work out basically sub-maximally. I'm never maxing out when I'm riding. I never max out. I never have a max day. I never do my max bench or max squat or max deadlift, all those things when I'm riding. I ride sub-maximally. I make sure my skill level is way up here, and it constantly keeps climbing because of practice, but then I ride down here at all times. So if there's ever, let me go back to me real quick so you guys can see. I would say my skill level is here, okay? I typically ride around here. Beginners are somewhere down here and stuff, but when your skill level rises, it keeps going. So my skill level is here. I ride around here. I practice a lot to where I keep raising my skill level so I can keep raising my riding level. But I never ride to my max skill level, because if something happens, guess what? You are riding now outside your skill level, and something like a panic could happen. So when I'm riding right here at this level. This is my max skill, my max deadlift, bench press, whatever it is you want to call it. This is the test right here. This is as far as I can go. If something does happen, I can fluctuate my skill. I can fluctuate my riding, but still never go past my skill level. And the only way you know that is by practicing. Practice. You have to practice. You take chances when you practice. You do not push your limits on a road like this. You do not push your limits on a road like this. You either have to take this road first a few times, nice and easy, And then when you get the feel for it, you can push it a little bit more. That's only because your skill level was raised because you practiced going over this nice and easy a few times. Then you can kind of push it a little bit more, but you still have to realize, hey, there could be an unknown hazard of gravel. There could be a deer. There could be a car coming in my lane. There could be this. Always that kind of stuff. So you still, on top of that, so if you are taking, like, this is your max skill, and we're going on this turn. This is your skill. This is your max skill, and this is how you ride, and you're riding it more and more and more. Keep it here. Never push it. Never, ever push it, because now you only have this much room left. Think of it as your own personal space bubble, your space cushion, your buffer, whatever terms you want to use. How we use it between us and a car. Use it between you, how you ride, and your max skill. The only way you're going to get better is if you practice. And you can push your limits in a controlled setting. Don't push your limits outside a controlled setting. Yeah, exactly, Ivan. I love that. The same thing, Slow Rider. You did that good too. And then David says, I think the blue sign's SP138, which is in Italy. Okay, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Everyone say thank you to David. That's awesome. So good advice about riding below your skills and not over the max. Exactly. Think of that when you're riding. If you feel like you're pushing it when you're riding, and you're starting to get, and this is what I talked about in your confidence, in that confidence video, is that if all of a sudden you have like this gut reaction of, oh no, this is, that means you're outside your limit. When you start to panic just a little bit, you're starting to get towards that max level that you have. Really smart advice, Dan. Leave a little something in the toolbox. Exactly, Brian. And then Ivan says, agreed. Safe motorcycling involves leaving a huge margin for error around every corner. It could be gravel or perhaps oil or water on the road under an overhanging tree. Exactly. You don't have a clue. And that's why when you're out on the track, you have just a big loop. You have no oncoming traffic. If somebody crashes, everything's slowed down until all the debris is away, and they make it safe as possible. Safe as possible. Not safe, but as safe as possible on a track, and that is where you can push your limits. So right there, we went a little too wide. I don't think this was a speed issue. I think he just went too wide. It's hard to tell. He's got good vision. He can see all the way around. He's in a good body position. You see how the center of the camera is almost on the mirror, so he's got good body positioning. Quite possibly could have just been a little bit too fast for this turn, but you see how there's the entrance, or the exit. There's the exit right there. He's got the exit. All he had to do is commit to that last second. So maybe one of the biggest problems when it comes to going wide towards the end is because you had a very early apex. Or an apex is the moment you are closest to the inside of the turn. That's all an apex is. You can have a late apex, early apex. There's nowhere on this road that says this right here, this spot is the apex. You must go. No, it's whatever the moment you are closest to the inside of the turn. So quite possibly, let's see if you had an early apex on this one. Nope. So his apex was probably, yeah, about the middle of the turn. That's pretty good. But this turn was sharper than what he was doing countersteering and body positioning for. So in this situation, what could have helped him out was first understanding the slow look, press, and roll. Okay, so we're slowing down before the turn. Now let's say you got to here and you're like, oh no, I didn't slow down enough. What do I do? That's where trail braking comes in. So this is actually a very unique crash. You see how the bike's in front of him and he's behind the bike? It's very unique. He got ejected. That's the only way that happens. So it buckled and he got ejected off the bike. See how he got ejected off the bike? The bike fell over the other way and he flew off the bike. That's why his hands are right here. His legs are probably underneath the bike or off to the side. But he's got full leathers. That's good. He's got full gloves. Look, he's got full leathers, full gloves. He ripped this one right here on the bottom. He ripped right on the bottom. So it must have been a gouge, because I don't think abrasion would have done that, unless that's his puck on his tire or on his leg. Yeah, see, he ripped the inside. So I think he hit his knee on those rocks, and it ripped it. because abrasions wouldn't do this to normal motorcycle jeans. It just wouldn't rip it on like that. I don't think these are jeans. These are like moto leathers. It wouldn't have done that. It had to have been an impact, a sharp pointed impact. And honestly, if he wasn't wearing gear, he'd be missing a chunk of his leg. So even just like a minor incident like this, where it's just like, I went too wide, you know, not that big of a deal. I went a little bit too wide, but you just got severely injured. If this was your leg, that gouge, you probably would lose this leg, or you would have major disabilities now, just for a minor little thing. For me, guys, if I get injured on the bike, I want it to be big. You know what I mean? If I get a life-changing injury, I want it to be like, well, it's because I flew off a cliff. I don't want a life-changing injury like a brain injury or a shattered elbow or anything like that just because I dropped the bike on gravel. Because that right there, that means I wasn't wearing the gear. That means I was not wearing my helmet. It means I wasn't wearing my jacket. It means I wasn't wearing my moto pants or anything like that. If I fly off a cliff and then have a massive injury, that's because there's nothing that you can do about that. The gear is only going to probably keep you alive, maybe, when typically you would die if you fell off a cliff without gear. So this right here probably saved his leg. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and jump into a Q&A session. We've been streaming for about 51 minutes. We're going to continue on with the rest of the video. In fact, let's go. This is what the next video is going to start off with. He's going 123 kilometers per hour on a scooter, 6th gear. So I want you guys to write in the chat, what do you think is going to happen here? Full ping. He's full throttle, 100% throttle. He's hitting the rev limiter. He's going 123 kilometers an hour on a scooter. So I want you guys to write in the chat, what do you think is going to happen in this one? I haven't seen this one. And let's go ahead and answer some questions. So write in the chat what you think is going to happen, or let me know a question, and hopefully I can answer for you. If not, I will probably defer you to the Discord. The Discord's absolutely free, amazing thing. All right, so let's see. Bobby, let me go ahead and scroll up. Sorry. In Germany, even corners are standardized. This means the curve of the corner is smooth and apex is in the middle. Means no surprise narrowing curve. Exceptions are mountain roads. Great for bikers. Bobby, that's awesome. I would love to go to Germany, dude. That is like a beginner rider's dream then, you know? But on top of that, you know, in Germany, even so corners are standardized. At the end of the day, I just don't trust anybody. I don't trust the government. I don't trust, you know, the other cars on the road. I don't trust the fact that, you know, this is supposed to be pothole free, gravel free, all that stuff. I will trust my skills. So I will go into that slow look, press, and roll while adding a little bit of trail braking into that. That's how I would handle that situation. I just don't trust anybody. I just don't. But yeah, that's awesome. I would love to go ride that. I would love to go ride that. Let's see. At Gat Blaze. Flew off a cliff, yeah. 1,000,001 reasons to wear at Gat. A major injury should be because your life was saved, not because you didn't protect yourself against minor injuries. Yes. I see a lot of beards in the chat. If you're a YouTube member, I want to just say you're here, because I want to see this whole side of the screen just blow up in green. You know what I mean? I want to see some beards. I want to see some mustaches, all that stuff. What's up, John Doe? Is that your real name? That'd be crazy if that was your real name, man. That would be nuts. All right, what did Discord say to me? A partner survey. Cool. So Discord, I'm a Discord partner, so I get special privileges when it comes to Discord. So if you want to join the Discord, there's the link right there. It's absolutely free. Let's see. Ryder blew the motor and created his own oil slick. Big Dave Talks thinks that's gonna happen. Okay. What's up, Quentin? How you doing? Chianty, how you doing? Daggermouth thinks he's gonna go into a blind curve. Okay. No, Andrew. Okay, yeah, that's your Andrew. What's up, man? Thank you so much. David Hughes with the mighty beard. Enigma, how's it going with you? That's the power beard right there. That is the power beard. I might actually change that. I don't know. I like it though. Christopher Bird, just purchased my first bike last weekend. Haven't ridden it yet. Waiting on new tires and the gear to come in. How would you recommend someone to get over the initial anxiety? The initial anxiety, take it slow. That's obviously everyone's going to say that. But since I need a little bit more information, so like how I can start you off. So if you're absolutely brand new, never been on a bike, never messed with a bike, the best thing you could do is spend at least a week, just a week. And this is why I'm going to come up with my own program. It's going to be like a 10-plus week program. And this is why I want to do it, because I want people to spend at least a week, just the first week, on friction zone, on throttle control. That's it. Friction zone, throttle control. I want people to understand that. I want people to spend the first week on the friction zone, throttle control, and knowing where all the primary controls are, and basically get familiarization with your bike. That's what I want. What's up, Slow Rider? How you doing? From Morocco. How you doing? So for the first week, sit on your bike, use friction zone and throttle control. We're gonna go to this real quick. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna look at this real quick, but I'm gonna go to the DDFM Crew website. So for you, man, this is where I'd go. DDFM Crew website, parking lot drills. There's a reason why the first one is called friction zone. So here I talk to you about friction zone. Okay, it's let's see how long it's only a 4.5 minute video, but it's really good. Highly recommend watching this and spend time on this. Okay, friction zone is going to be the foundation of what you do all the time. I'm going to tell you guys right now, the clutch is the most important control on your bike. And that's why I need you to focus on that. Once you feel comfortable on the clutch, you're going to realize how much control you have over the bike. And then since you have control over the bike, you have control over your anxiety and you have control over what's happening with you. That is huge. That will play into everything else you do. And you're going to realize I spent a full week on friction zone. So maybe I should spend a week on slow speed U-turns. Maybe I should spend a week on braking. Maybe I should spend... So that's how it goes. That's how it goes. But your first step would be to just sit on the bike and do friction zone. So, welcome crew. You ready to learn about the friction zone? Let's go ahead and do it. So the friction zone is the space in between pulling too much clutch, which removes all power from the rear wheel, and not pulling it at all, which will allow all power to the rear wheel. So I talk about it in this video. So, bro, click that link right there. Have some fun, man. Be safe. And if you still have any questions, so if you have any questions at all, ask around in the Discord. The Discord's free, man. Ripped my ACL putting my leg down to keep my bike up. Friend was on the back, didn't want him to get hurt. Bump in the road, front wheel popped it up. I pushed down. Dude, hopefully you're all right, Michael. From San Diego. Hopefully you're all right, man. How do you keep from getting rear-ended on the bike? I always have that fear of a car hitting me from. So John Doe, it's statistically, you have a greater chance of running into the car in front of you. It's as simple as that. And it sounds kind of weird because it's like, well, if you have statistically you have a chance of running in front of the car in front of you, that means the person behind me has a greater statistical chance of hitting me. No, on motorcycles, you have a greater chance of hitting somebody in front of you. In a car, you have a less chance of that. So it actually takes, it's a two-prong approach to that fear, is that you're going to hit somebody before somebody's going to hit you. So what you need to do is how I sit off center, and tomorrow's video is actually going to explain a lot of it. Or not a lot of it. Tomorrow's video, I mention it, how I sit. Let me see if I can find. So this is a good spot. So we're gonna go back to this one. Let's see if I can. Nope, not when he crashes. But you see right here. So let's pretend that this is at a stoplight. Okay, so there's a stoplight like right here. We're all stopped. I'm pulling up to stop. I'm going to go and put my nose right here. That's where I'm going to put my nose. I'm going to set myself for a lane filtering position so that I have a better chance of not getting hit. And a lot of people ask me, why do I do that? Why do I set myself up in a lane filtering position? Why do people lane filter? What is the benefit of lane filtering? Right? What's the benefit of lane filtering, everybody? It's to hopefully not get rear-ended and to ease congestion. Well, I can't lane filter all the way, because if I lane filter all the way, it'll ease congestion and everything, but it's illegal in Arizona for me to do so. So I'm going to utilize the safety portion of lane filtering and I'm gonna sit my nose right next to their rear tire, not next to it, but like, you know, almost, you know, off to the side. I'm gonna sit my position right here, and I'm gonna utilize the safety aspect of lane filtering, but legality says I can't utilize the congestion portion of lane filtering. So I'm gonna use the safety portion. So I'm gonna set myself off to the side, and if a car is not paying attention, they're hopefully gonna run into this car and not me. And there's been a lot of instances where that's happened, not with me, but I've seen some videos and some people have actually said where they park off to the side and somebody hits this vehicle because they weren't paying attention. I'd rather them hit this because they have a huge trunk. They have the driver up front. Hopefully nobody's in the back, and they're pretty much safe. That's what I would do. So when you're pulling up to a parking lot, or not parking lot, when you're pulling up to a stop sign or a stoplight, put yourself closest to the edge, like right here. Okay, that's what I would be doing. This is a steep street, by the way. At least 9% downslope. This rider should have realized that would require more buffer. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. All right, let me scroll back up. I spent a little bit of time on that one. I rode around town for a week before venturing out. Good job, Lost Cause. Seeing that the scooter's maxed out tank slapper, but can we call it that since scooter doesn't have a tank? I don't know, Tom. I don't know. Check your mirrors when you stop and position yourself when you have an escape path when you stopped. I had a dream. I dreamed Pence. All right. I think it's close to the beach and it hits gravel or sand. Okay. Okay. Spend a week on the wires. Yeah, spend a week on flat wrist and turning the handlebars with the flat wrist and how to turn the throttle. Yeah, that's a huge one. That's why it's part of the beginning of the class. Riding on the scooter. I asked because New York City is one. Okay. This is a steep. Okay. Lane filtering helps you not breathe the exhaust from others. Exactly. That too. Are you allowed to be at a red light to go to the front? I mean, overtake every car. So that's lane filtering. So Bobbi's support, that's lane filtering. You have to check your local laws. And if you are in the United States, the only place you could do that is California, Utah. If you're in every other part of the world, I'm pretty sure lane filtering is legal. So you can do that. You do it when you can at a safe rate. Should I still place myself in the lane filtering position if the lane to my left fast lane is still moving quickly? Feels like I might get tagged by a mirror. So for that question, if that is your concern, yeah, Utah is allowed now. Utah has passed the lane filtering law, and there's guidelines associated with it, so you can get ticketed if you go outside those guidelines. But yeah, they have one. So if you that concern of, you know, I'm gonna be right here, so I'm scared of like this car might tag me. What you can do is, like, let's say this is stopped, you can position yourself on the other side. There's nothing wrong with that. Position yourself on the other side. And then once traffic starts moving, get yourself out of that position. Like, let the car go ahead. So he's creating that space cushion for you. And then move over to a presentation lane. Like right here is a presentation lane so the cars can see you. Yeah. So let's go back to where we were. All right. So now we got some Q's and A's. Thank you guys so much for the Q's and A's. Guys, remember, if you would like to support the channel and you like what I do, you guys are the patrons are directly paying for my training and my coaching, and I can deliver it to you guys. So $2 helps out a lot. So if you want to become a patron at the $2 level, please do so. If you do it during the streams, I will shout you out, and everyone's going to say congrats, man. It's awesome. If the end of your bar isn't over the line, you're good. You can get very close and still have plenty of room. But yeah, if there's a better escape route on the other side, do that. Yeah. Yeah, if you feel nervous about being over there on the other side where the traffic is coming, go ahead and put yourself on the other side. And you still utilized the aspect of lane filtering to where you won't get rear-ended. He's maxed it. There's a turn. Oh, snap! Do not treat your bike that way, guys. He's on sandals. Got the sandals. Oh my gosh, that one's terrible. You did call it, man. So what happened here? Obviously, speed was a factor. Speed was a factor. So we're coming up to a turn. So this is where you see the crest of the, or not the crest, the curvature of the turn. So that right there is like, oh, okay, that's why he indicated he was going 129 kilometers an hour. He's slowing down a little bit. So now he's going 107, okay? But we have a very bad line selection here. Not necessarily because it's like a bad line for going fast. It is a little bit, but it's a bad line because you don't see anything. So right here, we're straight up in the center of the whole road. On this blind turn, put yourself over to the right side. Go outside. Okay, start off outside. What he does is he starts off inside. We're inside now. He should still be over here on the right. Should be over here on the right. And if this is a 2-lane road, then be over to the right as much as possible. You know, the center of the road. Look at the road. The road is open. The road is open. This is 2 accidents so far. 2 motorcycle accidents that were caused by somebody going a little bit too fast and not committing to the turn. Yeah. No, I'm saying if this was a 2-lane road, maybe I said it too quick. When I said he needs to be over here onto the right, I said that's where the best position would be for line of sight. But if he's over here on the left, because that's where he's supposed to be, right here, then I would be over towards the middle of the road, still within your lane. That's what I was trying to. That's what I said. Maybe I said it too quick, but right here, that's where I'd be. That's the best line of sight. That's completely outside. But if it's a 2-lane road with oncoming traffic, you're going to have to be right here towards the middle of the road. So the far right of your lane. This is why the track is really awesome, is because you never have to worry about oncoming traffic and you can go fast and you have this much more room for a line of sight thing. Make sure you guys... Jeez. I'm going to go ahead and mute this one for you guys. Yeah, that one's a little loud. Oh, my face is all dark. So what I was trying to say, guys, is that I would like it if you guys would share this live stream, or better yet, hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. All right, so we're going to scroll back. This one was like really loud, so I muted it for you guys. It's loud for me. So I saw 117. So when I do 117 kilometers per hour, that's 72 miles per hour. He's going 72 miles per hour. He hit something. That was decent. So this right here is a decent body angle. The guy up front. This is a decent bike lean angle. It's okay. But remember, we're going 72 miles an hour, 73 miles an hour. Let's see. Where's the moment that tire slips? Right there. There must have been something in the road. There had to have been something in the road, because that didn't... He either applied the brakes... I can't tell because of the lip right here. Let's go back to where he enters. So like I said, guys, this is what I do when I go through my videos and I figure out which ones I want to share with you that will give you the best knowledge possible. So this is the process I'm going. So sorry if I'm ignoring the chat, guys. I think I know what happened. Or at least could have contributed to it. Because crashes, how they happen is just a multitude of factors that are combined into one that will cause the crash. Okay. Yeah, the rear tire lost traction. So right now you can see that there's no brake light. There's no brake light. So he's going to do the slow look, press, and roll thing. But he applied the brakes way late. He did not slow down before the turn. He slowed down like right at the start of the turn. So watch him go to the brakes right there. So there's the brake lights. We're in the turn. He's already, look at his body angle, the lean angle of the bike. It's already starting to lean. So that means he's in the middle of the turn. He applies the brakes abruptly. So this is the moment he does it. And it happens just for a split second. So now the brake lights are off. So let's go back in full speed. I want you to see how fast he's really going. Remember, they're going like 72 miles an hour. And then he just taps the brakes. When that happens, it jars the system. When you don't have a smooth brake or a smooth input, it can jar the system. Maybe he's barely tapping it. Maybe he's barely tapping. This is one of the big problems when it comes to trail braking. If you don't know what you're doing, is that it jars the system, it messes up the suspension, causes everything to have to re-grip. So he loses traction. I'm looking at his foot too, because maybe his foot caught. No, he lost traction before the foot touched. Because that's a big issue. People's feet drag it and they get grabbed by the road. Okay. His body position isn't the greatest. Now that I'm really looking at it. So I start from the bottom and I go up. So his lean angle is at a lean angle. If I could draw a line, his head is on the outside of that line of the bike. His head is on the outside of the bike's lean angle. So he's actually kind of counterweighting. He's all crossed up. Have you guys heard of crossed up means? Or the slang for riding, how you're all crossed up. Basically, the bike is moving or is leaning one way and you're leaning the other. You're all crossed up like scoliosis. So right here, his head and body, his shoulders specifically, his head and shoulders should be moved over towards the mirror. Lost cause, exactly. I just saw your comment. Needs to lean towards the mirror. And the mirrors are they're just cue cones. They're just clues to, like, this is what you should do. You know what I mean? My clue and cue is I want to keep the bike up because it's my baby. I want to protect it from the road. I will jump in front of the bike to protect it. You know what I mean? So I move my body in between the bike and the road. That's my goal. So right here, it could be too fast, even for this lean angle. Too fast for this lean angle, and his rear tire washed out. So he might have hit the acceleration since there's no brake lights. So he sees the exit. He's still in the middle of the turn. He's still turning, and he just hits that acceleration. I can't tell because it's not his camera. And he hit the acceleration. He used 100% of his traction for turning, and then he gives it that too much. He just gives it too much of that acceleration, and it causes it to wash out. Yeah, it's hard to tell. His bike hit something. It's standing up. Anybody want to see if they can have a crack at what kind of bike that is? Anybody want to take a crack at it? The guy behind him did a good job of not crashing. So let's take what's good. Because so far we've been kind of focusing on the bad. But let's take what's good, right? He's wearing full gear. He's got full everything. His body position could be better, right? So he's got full gear. So he's protected in this crash. He's doing fine. So let's actually see what he looks like. So he's got full gear. He's sliding across. You ever wonder why on the backs of these leathers they have that little bump, that little hump? That is to protect your neck and your head. But he's got full leathers. He's sliding across the road, just like his bike is. And he's doing fine. He's just sliding. And these leathers, they are the best for abrasion resistance. And not only abrasion resistance. And this is where a lot of people start to kind of be like, oh, well, you know, this jacket has really good abrasion resistance. It's got AAA rated abrasion resistance. That's great. But leather does so much better for heat transfer. So the heat transfer from the ground, the friction, the transfer of heat to your body is minimized with leathers. So now not only is he not getting road rash, he's not going to get first or second degree burns like a rug burn, you know? He's not going to get that. So that's another aspect of leather. So he's doing pretty good on that. But let's take a look at the guy that is riding behind him. So he just witnesses a crash and didn't panic. I think that's amazing. See how he straightened it up? Let's go back. He straightened it up, saw the crash. He straightened it up when he could, when he was actually straight. So now he's doing his search, evaluate, execute, you know, the search and react, or the awareness, assess, adjust. I'm coming up with new things. And what he's doing is like, where's my path? Where's my path? Where's my path? He sees the bike, so now this hazard's gone. He doesn't want to run over his buddy. This bike's in his path, so now he can swerve left. He did good. Let me go ahead and put the volume back on because that was just like obnoxiously loud. Hey, it's another 390, I think. It's at least a KTM RC something. Might be a 390. Oh, we've seen this one. This one's dangerous. Oh, I think we know what's happening there. This right here, this ripped of the jeans, this jeans that are ripped right here, or the pants. His cell phone is right here. It created leverage. It created leverage to cause it. So that's another reason why I like to keep my phone on the rock form mount. This isn't really a plug for them, but I do highly recommend it. A rock form mount. These things are really good. I have it on my phone. It's a rock form case. It's a magnet right there. And then on top of that, they actually just came out with a pop socket adapter. And trust me, pop sockets are awesome. I don't care what you guys think. It's a pop socket adapter. It's magnetic also. You can take it off. Chianty, yeah, boy. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, I put my phone on here so that if I do crash, it doesn't create leverage, which will press into my flesh and cause external injuries. So that's why I do that. But yeah, it comes with a pop socket adapter. It's so awesome. What? CE armor? No, Lost Cause. It's not for teenage girls. And this is why. I'm gonna tell you right now, guys. When I'm doing stuff, like I live on my phone too. You know, I mean, it's the nature of being, you know, a YouTuber. So I have it here. Obviously, you can set it off to the side, but it's magnetic. So here's the magnetic part. Now it's magnetic on the bottom. I can set it like this. And if I'm doing something like cooking, I have it like that, and I can read what it is I'm doing. So that's what I'm saying. Know what I'm saying? But yeah, this was a terrible accident. We'll skip this one though. It is fancy. 25% off, Dan 25. Oh! We're gonna watch. So this one is Minor Jewels. We might actually, if this is a good one, I might take it and do a review on it. So this is Minor Jewels at 6 minutes. Yeah, there we are. Let's go. So if you guys have a video of yourselves and you want me to do an accident review of it, let me know. And by letting me know, I mean you can actually send me your video. You can submit your video to me, and I'll do an accident review of it. I have a few that I'm going to be doing for next week, so send that in. No, the magnet won't destroy the memory on your phone because they're not, what is it called? The standard hard drives that have the spinning stuffs. Your phones are solid-state drives, which aren't affected by the magnets. They actually talk about that on the website. They actually did, like, they used like even like a crazy powerful magnet on a phone, and they had to go crazy until it did something. So it says the guy in front of me locked up his brakes to avoid a collision because the asshole in front of him pulled in front of him from the light and tried to go straight into a parking lot. Okay, that happens. But of course, good old me didn't have time. I tried to brake, but I slid. Oops. Okay. When police arrived, of course, they automatically blamed the rider. The guy I hit had the same story as me. Guy pulled in front of him, and I was just wrong. And doesn't matter. But fuck it. Why don't they care about the guy who actually caused the accident? Nope. Just blame the driver. Wrote me a ticket for reckless driving. That can happen. And then if you say this kind of stuff, you're an idiot. Just saying. So this guy is pulling. Man, show me what you were doing before this. This is in California. Show me what you're doing before this. You know what I mean? Why were you going this speed? Because he was going pretty fast. Why are you slowing it down?
Oh. Fucking skull there. Huh? You good? Yeah. Good? You good? Hold up. Oh shit. At least alright? Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go back. This right here, if you're traveling and you see something out of the ordinary, like a car like this, assume that this car is not going to do anything other than just sit there. He's moving fast. I don't know if these are RPMs. I think he's going 35. He's going 35. I think he's going 35. Yeah, he's going 35. You can see how a misappropriation of your primary controls is going to affect you in this situation, because he tries to swerve and then brake at the same time. What's up, Dan? How you doing? He tries to swerve and brake at the same time. You can barely see it, but the rear end starts to lock up and slide. His rear end starts to lock up and slide, and he's trying to turn at the same time. You see how his right hand is starting to move down? His right hand is starting to move down. What's happening there is, let's see, watch this. So his right hand is right here. So his right hand's on this line right here that I'm showing you with the YouTube. That's going to be like a baseline for where his hand is. If you're swerving, your hand should move up, and then you should be moving the other way, okay? It's not direct steering, but the way it works, it moves up. So watch his right hand. Watch this hand right where the button is. This is the only moment it starts to move up just a little bit. See how it's moved down again? So that means his hands are moving towards the bike. Or I mean towards the car. That means his front tire is moving towards the car. The only reason why it's able to do that with the fairing nose to be pointing that way is if his back end is sliding that way. So he locked up the rear tire and tried to swerve at the same time. That is something you are not supposed to do. You're taught in the MSF BRC 1, the very first, the basic rider class, to either brake, then swerve, or swerve, then brake. You cannot do both. Yeah, Mike, they're not sensitive to that. So yeah, so this right here, complaining and then saying this, you're the one that rear-ended somebody.
You got the handlebars. Appreciate it. Oh.
Let's take a look at his injuries. So, let's see if I can go back just a little bit. This is, I'm going to slow it down even more so I don't have that play button in the way. There we go. This is first degree and partial second degree road rash. You see, I wish that thing wasn't in the way. There is a gouge. There's a puncture wound. There's a puncture wound in the center, and the rest is just first degree road rash. This puncture wound, that right there is second degree. This is all first degree stuff. Okay, what's the next one? So this is after possibly it's all wrapped up. This is a compression bandage. There's a band-aid on top of his knee. This is where... Why do we have... Let me scroll it down a little bit. why are we needing, like, you know, flesh or soft tissue bandaging and all that stuff when we should be having gear, right? Because if you had your armor insert here, the only way you would have any soft tissue bleeding or injury like that is if something punctured through the armor. So I don't think he had knee armor on. Is there more to his injuries? Okay, now it's just bike injuries. Bike injuries. So this is the right side. Yeah, because here's the, okay. So this is right side. So his front brake and his peg got ripped off. His front brake got snapped over. So that's why his right knee has injuries. The mechanism of injury, guys. The mechanism of injury dictates, you know, what happened on scene that will translate to an injury. So if there's damage to the vehicle on the right side, more than likely there's going to be damage to the person on the right side. I think that's a fender. So the bike dropped. This is on its left side, and it bent the clip-on. So this is just a bend of the peg, and this is something that you can have if you just dropped your bike on its left side. You're gonna have a bend in the peg. More than likely, you can bend this peg, or not the peg. I keep saying peg. You can bend this shifter. You can actually bend it back a little bit, and it'll be fine. The biggest problem is that if you bend it and it snaps off, then there you go, you're done. Just buy another one. This is the light on the left side. Those things tend to break off when you drop them. Just happens. Some scrapes, some scratches. This right here, this type of stuff will be prevented from the road, scraping on the road if you have sliders. But this type of stuff won't be prevented if you impact a car. Okay, that's it. Cool, that was interesting. We learned a little bit from that. So I think this is the high-speed stuff. So maybe he uploaded, because this is this is normal speed. See, that's normal speed. Look how close he got to getting run over. If his leg just kind of went further and this guy kept going, his ankle would have been shattered.
Huh? You good? Yeah.
He's not good. Based on his injuries, he's not good.
Bro, at least alright? Yeah. I'm good. You alright? Yeah, I'm alright.
This looks like an amazing, like, turn. I love this. This looks nice. Oh, blind, 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 blind. Target fixated. You know what? I'm going to use this. One second. I'm sorry. I have to pause it. I'm going to make an actual video of this one. So I'm going to talk about it. It's going to be my rough draft. So 6:41. Sorry. 1 second, guys. I will create an actual video of this. Okay. That was a good one. That was something that a new rider could make. Yeah, let's go back. If I were to hold one-on-one classes where I ride with you and I just like talk you through a comm system saying, hey, let's do this, watch this, and then like we just stop. Let's say there's a lot of gravel on the road and we just stop and we kind of discuss it, or we come up to a spot and we discuss it, but we're doing like a full-on an hour, 2-hour ride together. Would that be something you guys would like to do? Like if I did a one-on-one with you, what do you guys think? Would that be fun? Would you like to do that? I think that'd be kind of fun. I'd like to do that. If you're local to Tucson, maybe we could set that up. I got a bunch of Tucson crew members It'd be great to set something up like that. Also, if you guys do super chat in the, if you guys if you guys super chat, it shows everybody that you super chatted in the Discord. We have 1,600 members, so everybody gets to see how cool you are. So right here, we're going at a decent rate of speed. Not that big of a deal. He's going probably the speed limit. Not a huge deal at all. But when I said, watch out, blind turn, is because you can't see where's the rest of the road. It disappears. Where's the rest of the road? So that's why I said that's a blind turn. Let me go ahead and move that up. That's a blind turn. So it's the crest in the road. So when we go back to the very beginning of the clip, you can see the road. See how far away the road is? This is what I want you guys to start picking out. Target fixated on a cute blonde with an... That happens. You see how you can see all this road right here? That's a lot of road. Okay, right there. That's a lot of road. Watch it start to disappear. That's when I started saying, oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. There's no road. Blind turn, blind turn, blind turn. When you are riding and you see a lot of road, great. Everything's copacetic. Everything's awesome. The moment it starts to decrease, that should be like, oh crap, there's something going on here. That means if I can't see around it, it's going to become a blind turn. So watch this. See the road, 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 disappeared. Road disappeared. That right there should indicate to you, slow down. There was no signs. There was no signs, I don't think. Yeah, there's no signs. So there's no chevrons like I'm about to do in the chat. There's no chevrons in the chat for this road. So that is another clue. So remember, having tools in your toolbox, having the tool of looking for signs, and then also looking at the road and seeing how it changes. So if you guys ever come up to a situation like this where the road starts to disappear, that means it's going to become a blind turn. There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. Slow down, slow down, slow down. And you see how the road was just blind because it was on a crest. It means it was going over kind of like a small hill. Your line of sight was diminished. So about right here, you can't see the rest of the road. If we just go up a little bit more, we can see the rest of the road. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 frames. This is a 30 frames per second. 6 frames. That is like a half a second, quarter of a second. That's about a quarter of a second, right? A quarter of a second, and then you could see the rest of the road. So if you did for a full second, rolling off the throttle about right here because the road disappeared, if you rolled off the throttle for a full second, you would come up to this portion of the turn right here because you're slowing, right? You're slow, look, press, roll. We're slowing down before the turn because it's a blind turn. Now we see the turn. We're looking through the turn. We're pressing to counter steer and use body position. And then now that we're straight, if we're up here and we're straight and we have the rest of the turn, we roll on the throttle. So this is why slow look, press, and roll is very important. He didn't slow down before the turn because, for one, he didn't see it was becoming a blind turn. So like I said, for everybody that's just now joining in, I see 95 people in here. Let's hit that like button, boys. So right here, you can see all the road. I'm going to reiterate because this is very important. This is why I copied the video, because I really want to do a full video on this because I think beginners and intermediates and everybody can learn a lot from this. Is that road right there? You can see it, right? There's a lot of road all up in here. There's a lot of road. Watch it disappear. Once it starts to disappear, slow down. And then when you're slowing down, you get more time to make a decision. And if you have to do trail braking, do trail braking. But slow look, press, and roll into this. And now you'll be able to make it. Because as soon as he gets to the blind portion, a split second, 6 frames out of a 30 frames per second video, you could see the rest of the road. You just need to slow down just that little bit. See? Disappearing, 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 disappearing. Slow down, slow, slow, slow. Slow, slow, slow. Now we see the rest of the road. All you had to do is slow down a little bit before that. Not a pirate. I love that. I love that, Bobbi. High speed. High speed. go back. 120 kilometers per hour. That is how fast? 75 miles per hour. For those of you in the United States, imagine taking these roads at interstate speeds. Just think about that. Sackle, you still have that question, man? You still have that question? About the previous video of how he went off the road? It wasn't a decreasing radius. It was just a blind turn and he target fixated to the outside. It wasn't paying attention and went too fast into the turn. Imagine in the United States taking these roads and passing vehicles at interstate speeds with oncoming traffic and possible pedestrians. I saw pedestrians here. Imagine doing that. Yeah, that's what these guys are doing. That is insane. That is insane. So that's when you start playing around with ego, quite possibly ego on this one. You know, in fact, I'm going to take this video too. I haven't done this video either. What is this at? 646. Wait. There we go. Let me copy that. There we go. So this guy's kind of crossed up. You see how his head is up, his shoulders are to the left. He's doing part of the body positioning right. The problem is our bodies naturally don't want to lean over past 20 degrees. Like our head doesn't want to lean over because it feels like we're going to fall down. So that's why you see a lot of people's heads are upright and their bodies are kind of turned. You really got to commit to that head position down there too. Okay, can you see around this? Can you guys see around this right here? Well, who's around these vehicles? What about the oncoming traffic? Can you see right now? Can you see what's around these vehicles right now? No, you cannot. You cannot see around these vehicles right now. Now you can see around these vehicles. Order Jot, or I think that's how you say your name. Why is trail braking advanced skill instead of basic? Is it really so difficult to learn or use properly for a beginner? So you have to start realizing we have to play towards the common denominator when it comes to the very intro to riding. And when you add in braking during a turn, and you're starting to talk about percentages, you know, only use like 10%, 20%, whatever it is if you're braking, that's too much for a beginner to know. So you have to do black and white type stuff for beginners. And then when you start getting into the intermediate and advanced skills, it's more like a gray area of how you can use it, when you can use it, why you need this tool in your toolbox, all those different things. That's only because you have more experience. When you start learning the beginner stuff, like I said, it's black and white. You have step 1, step 2, step 3 to do something, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3. When you go out and practice, step 1, step 2, step 3 becomes one full motion. There is no steps when you become more of an intermediate and advanced rider. So it just becomes a full motion. So slow look, press, and roll becomes a fluid motion for somebody that's a beginner but has been practicing. Once that becomes a fluid motion and you start to understand the dynamics of a bike, you can actually start adding in trail braking. So when you add in trail braking, you can be a beginner and add trail braking. That's perfectly fine. It just depends on where you are in the beginner scale. So you start to learn trail braking towards the end of your beginner status and more towards the intermediate, and then you start adding in more and more stuff to it. Because remember, you still got to add body positioning. That's not taught in the basic class because they want you to take things slowly so you can practice your stuff. So you got body positioning, you got trail braking, you have maximal, like threshold braking. Have you guys heard of threshold braking? Probably not, because it's not taught in your BRC1. It's taught in your intermediate and advanced class. There's a lot of stuff that's involved, and that's why I haven't talked about trail braking. It's why I haven't talked about trail braking, threshold braking, maximizing your throttle and body positioning. That's why I haven't really talked about that stuff, because for a beginner, it's not needed, it's wanted, and that's just, you know, I've talked about trail braking so much. I mean, I understand a lot of people use it, but we use it in our cars all the time. We're going through a turn too fast in our car, we start applying a little bit of the brake. We do it all the time as car drivers. Just on the on the bike is just too difficult for a new rider. So we got pedestrians, we got people, we probably got animals. So this right here gave himself a really bad line of sight. How do you know that there's no vehicles coming in? So this is where we start doing this. This is where we start having problems, when we start riding like this. Speed is a factor. Line selection is definitely a bad factor in this one. There's a no passing portion of this road. He had to go in, he went wide to get back into his lane. At no point when you're actually riding, like in your own lane, do you go all the way in, then go wide to go back in. You're doing outside, inside, no wait, outside, inside, outside, inside. You're doing a 3-part on this, or 4-part on this thing, and it's going to cause you to have massive problems. So right here, you're going to have issues. He went a little bit too wide. The only reason why the guy in the back was able to save it is because he slowed down. See, so watch him. He's gonna go from over here at 120 kilometers an hour. He's gonna go from this position to way on the inside because he has to pass. Goes back to the outside, which he's pushing himself way too far. Now he's gonna lean even farther to the right. He just went too wide. There's gravel. Oh, I sighted it. Panicked. Got too scared of the turn. Rode outside his limit. Yeah, so guys, before you start squiggles, yeah. Before you guys start adding in new techniques, make sure you get some proper coaching and instruction. So before you start doing it on like turns like this out in the real world, practice it in a very easy environment where there's no traffic and it's a very easy turn. Get a feel for how the bike dynamics change when you start applying a little bit of trail braking. I don't recommend just throwing it into your toolbox when you have no idea how to use the tool. Do not recommend that. Craig Glass, your 6-year-old says my beard is better than yours. Olivia, you are, let's go back. Olivia, you are 100% correct. This beard, I'm sorry, is better than Craig's. I'm assuming it's your dad. Thank you so much for the kind words, Olivia. Chianty, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for the support. Have fun in class, man. So we got chevrons here. I like to point them out. You're going to see the stuttering of the bike, and that's because of braking, some braking inputs. Let me go ahead and scroll it up a little bit more. But you're going to see the bike jerk around, and that's because of the braking inputs during the turn. You got a little too panicked for the turn. This is where improper trail braking happens. This is what it looks like, improper trail braking. This is why I find it very dangerous. You know, you go into the turn super fast and like, oh, I'm just going to do trail braking. It's not going to work very well in this situation. You need to slow down before the turn. Squiggles. See that? You see how it was jumping back and forth? Watch him jump back and forth. He's moving like this. He's moving like this. You see that? You're going to see him mess up. That's improper trail braking. When you rely on only one tool for the job, and you only use that one tool, you will get screwed up if there's a different job that requires a different tool. It's like having a hammer, only in hammer. Guys, we only have a hammer, but now I have a screw that I gotta use. The hammer's not gonna, I could smash that screw into the wood or drywall, whatever it is, and boom, it can work, but is it the appropriate tool? Is it the appropriate thing? So that's why having multiple tools, you know, have a very hefty toolbox. Everyone starts off with just the toolbox. That's it. We don't have any tools yet, just the toolbox. Yeah, that is why the tail is wagging like that. He's using way too much rear brake. I don't see his right fingers, but quite possibly he could be using that. Yep, there it is. You see his hand? Exactly, Bobby. Look, watch. I'm gonna see if there's his fingers. You see on the very bottom right, his blue gloves. He reached for the brake, squeezed the brake right here, and now he's starting to slide. That right there is a low side. It's gonna grab traction. And he's gonna go up. There it is. There's the high side. He's going up and over. That's exactly what happened. He reached for that front brake in the middle of the turn. So this is why I say beginners shouldn't be learning trail braking. So right, let's go back a little bit. There's his fingers. He's starting to mess up. And this is where people are like, well, what happens if you go too fast into a turn? Just use trail braking. Use trail braking. Trail braking starts before the turn. So you should be applying trail braking before the turn. So if you misappropriate that tool, there's the fingers right there. If you on the bottom right, you see it right on the bottom right of the screen, right there. He's misappropriating the braking procedures that you could definitely use in the middle of a turn. This is why you need to practice, 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 practice. Yeah. So guys, trail braking in the middle of in turns like this, trail braking has basically two meanings. Okay, slow speed, high speed. Or slow speed, road speed, I guess. So slow speed, the rear brake works really well. The rear brake will help you in the middle of a U-turn, a figure eight, you know, slow speed maneuvers, all that stuff. Oh, my wife's calling me. I don't want to get in trouble. Let me check, make sure she's not messaging me. Okay. You can use rear brake for the slow speed stuff. The rear brake is going to stabilize your bike in slow speed. When you're going at a higher rate of speed, you're going to have your suspension raise up. Let me go ahead and get off that screen. So when you're doing road speed, your suspension is raised up. That rear brake is not going to do much when you're at higher speeds. When you apply the front brake, remember, like very minimal, like 10% of your front brake, what it's going to do is going to put your weight, a little bit of weight on that front tire. Not all of it, because when you do 10% front brake, you start braking, and then if you want to stop, you apply more and more and more. You apply more and more and more when your front tire starts to apply weight to that front, or your body position. Let me rephrase, I got distracted by my wife. When you apply 10% front brake pressure, here's your bike. When you apply that front brake pressure, you're going to have weight go towards that front tire. When you have weight on that front tire, you have more traction. If you want to stop, you start applying even more front brake at a progressive brake pressure, and then you'll definitely stop. Now, for trail braking, for street riding and track riding, what you're doing is you're applying that 10% brake pressure, or whatever it is for that speed. It could be 5%, you know, whatever, 20%. But let's say 10%. So your nose starts to dive. You start putting more weight on that front tire. What does weight on the front tire do for you in a turn? It applies more traction, just like if you need more traction to apply or to stop, right? You need more traction on the front tire to apply more brake pressure to stop. So when you apply that 10% front brake pressure and you start to nose in a little bit, now you have more traction to do anything. Stop, accelerate, or corner. So what you do in a typical racing or typical street racing type, track racing, street racing, all that stuff, what you do is you apply that trail braking, and now you have more traction to accelerate or even turn on a very sharp turn. That is why I say it's not good for beginners to do, because they will use that inappropriately. Now, MotoJitsu and a few other people, they say use it for that and also use it. This is where I agree with them on trail braking. is that it's a really appropriate skill so that when you start applying a little bit of that front brake pressure and you start to nose in a little bit and you got tire traction, what he's saying is that when you apply or when you come up to a hazard and you're having to stop, now you are primed. Your bike is primed to slow down even more. So now give it 20% brake pressure. And now you can make that turn that you typically would have went wide. I could completely agree with that. It's an advanced skill though. It's a better thing to do if utilized correctly. But I'm going to tell you right now, slow look, press, and roll, slowing down before the turn. I'm just going to say slowing down before the turn is going to save your butt 95% of the time. That 5% where it's not enough, that's where you integrate that trail braking, because you're already slowing down before the turn, correct? You're slowing down before the turn, but then you kind of roll on and you kind of then you make the turn. You look, slow look, press, and roll. You look where you want to go, press on the initiate counter steering and body positioning, and then roll on the throttle. But if you're already slowing down, it's like, oh, this turn is crazy. Before you even start pressing, just maintain that brake pressure. Keep trail braking, slow look. Now you're looking, now you're pressing, now you're rolling on the throttle, releasing the brake pressure. It's two tools that you need. It's two tools that you need. It's just that the beginners learn slow look, press, and roll for a reason, because you can't make a turn without counter steering, looking, and rolling on the throttle. If I just tell somebody to trail brake during a turn, they're just going to trail brake into the outside. Use both. But you need to be an intermediate or advanced rider, or at least a top level beginner, before you start adding in trail braking, because this is the type of stuff that happens where you use it inappropriately in emergency and then you go off the side of the road. Use the front brake for the street level. So if you're having to counter steer, that means you're going 15 miles an hour plus if you're counter steering. That's when you use your front brake. Okay, it's the whole 2 fingers while still rolling on the throttle. You start doing this with your front brake and your throttle. You start doing that, and that's why it's an advanced skill. For slow speed stuff, for a figure 8, the rear brake can be your friend. That is taught in class. That is taught in the BRC class. Is use a little bit of rear brake. So that right there is fine. Just wanted to mention that. No, I've been getting a lot of comments saying, hey man, you're arguing with MotoJitsu. Hey, don't do this. It's like, I agree with what he says. That's why I keep promoting his stuff. I agree with what he says when it comes to trail braking being more like a better skill, but it's like you still have to know slow look, press, and roll. Do not replace your tools, guys. If you have a hammer, slow look, press, and roll is a hammer. Boom, you have a bunch of nails. Cool. You have all you're using is nails. And it's like, well, I'm going to go ahead and train myself how to use a screwdriver. Okay, cool. I have a screwdriver. I'm leaving it in the toolbox. I don't have any screws right now. Now this project, this turn, requires a screw. Well, thank gosh I have a screwdriver, right? But if that project requires a screwdriver and all you have is a hammer and you never advanced your skills, good luck. So that's why I'm saying it's good to have both of them just in case. Just in case. And then you need to practice and train yourself with it. I have nothing against I have full respect for him as a total control instructor. You could throw an anchor out. Oh, he pushed his bike down. Sackle, that sucks, man. I didn't mute this, he muted it. Oh, his arm got hurt. I like how he's looking around first before he decides to pick up the bike. Oh, we already did this one. I think I'm going to end it on this last one. We already talked about that one. He's checking his arm because it got hurt. But I like the fact that he kind of moves off to the side and checks the traffic before he picks up the bike so he doesn't get hit. Okay. I was asked a few times, like, what is the one thing that you would tell a new rider, like the best advice you could tell a new rider, just one tip. And I said, I have like 3 of them, but I said the one tip I had to think about it was, do not think about it. Do not think about it. My next tip is try not to not make a mistake. So don't go into a class thinking, hey, I can't make mistakes and I have to get everything perfect. And if I screw up, this sucks, I suck. That right there is a problem. If you go to a class, make sure, this is my tip for you guys. If you go to a class, assume that you're going to make mistakes and accept your mistakes and then learn from them. Do not go into it trying to be the perfect rider because you're not going to be. My third tip for new riders and for any riders, I think it's a universal tip, is that you point your bike where you want it to go. You push the bike where you want to go. You point the bike where you want to go. You are in control of where the bike wants to go. So right here, he's pointing the bike down. As simple as that. So if you're doing proper body positioning, so right now he's pointing it down, okay? So if you're doing proper body positioning, okay, so he's pointing it down. So he's trying to make the turn, pointing it down. That's what he's doing. He's pointing it down. He fell. For me, what I want to do is I want to point it up to keep it up, and I will go down. Because I know for a fact my bike's going to take care of me. If I take care of my bike, it's going to take care of me. So when I'm turning left, I'm going to turn this way towards the chat. Instead of putting my bike down and just trying to do that, I'm going to point my bike up, lean over a little bit, and then make the turn. Therefore, my bike has more traction. The suspension works the way it wants to work. You know, if something happens, I just kind of sit back up, straighten it up. Bike's already straightened up. I don't have to straighten the bike up for emergency braking. Bike's already straightened up for emergency braking. I can start applying progressive brake pressure and moving my body over nice and smoothly. So guys, point the bike where you want it to go. If you push it towards the ground like you're counter steering, the bike's going to want to fall. If you point it up and then use body positioning, the bike's going to want to stay up for the most part, depending on your speed. If you're doing slow speed stuff, if you point the bike down towards the ground, because if you're going to do a U-turn, get yourself over here to counterweight as much as you possibly can to help balance that bike so it doesn't want to fall over. You point the bike where you want it to go. And he's pointing it right now towards the ground. So right here, this is what I like about it, is that he's walking to his bike. He's trying to be calm. You see the lights? You saw the light right there? That means there's a car. This light right here, how it's illuminated, there's a car. It's not from this. You'll see it actually move. Let's go back a little bit. There's a car that's behind him. See? There's a car. There it goes. It's passing. So right here, there's the car. If you feel like you're in a dangerous spot, it's probably because you are. The roads are dangerous. Step off on the curb if you have to and make an assessment. So right here we got cars. So he's looking around, seeing if there's either anybody that saw it or he's just trying to be safe. But I'm assuming he's trying to be safe. So from there, he's going to go ahead and lift up the bike and then move it off the road. Regarding the final video, close inspection shows the following rider was actually accelerating into the turn-off area under the assumption nobody was stopping. Yeah, so we're just gonna watch this one. I already did an accident video on this. This was a very interesting video. If you guys want to see it, I'll leave you guys with that. And I talked about it the whole time. Ay, 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 ay. So I'm gonna go ahead and find that video for you guys. This video right here. Dude's jacked. If you work out and then you wear this to show off, ego is going to be a part of your repertoire. So wear full gear, guys. So motorcycle group crash caused by poor attention. So I actually did a video on this. And actually, let's just go ahead and watch it. Let's go ahead and watch it. This is a good video.
Remember to pay attention to where we're at in space and time, especially if we're going to be riding in a group that is really close together. Also, wear your gear. If you're looking for a way to put your phone on the motorcycle, why don't you check out Rockform? Great product. I bought it myself, and I use it every single day.
Real quick, I'm giving this away as part of the Patreon giveaway. I already gave away the other one, Road Wrangler. Congrats. But I'm giving away another one. So if you become a patron, you're automatically entered into the giveaway. So let's join up, boys. Wow, this is a high mechanism of injury type accident because of the lack of gear of everybody, and then the angular type of accident this is happening. If you want to know more about mechanism of injury and how to take care of somebody, you might want to check out accidentscene.org. But let's go ahead and talk about what went right, what went wrong, and how we can prevent this for ourselves. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch it real quick. They're moving through the curves, relatively easy day. You see some brake lights, but the person with the camera does not see it. Oh, brakes. Oh, hits him. Okay, you can see the braking and everything that happened. And make sure you're wearing gear, guys. Look at that. No shoes, no real shoes, no motorcycle shoes. Let's go ahead and start at the beginning again. So if you want to see the full video, make sure you check the link in the description. That way you can see everything. But this is basically where the video starts. And this is where we're going to start ourselves. So we have a group ride right here. Okay, so the group ride should have communication. Communication is very important when it comes to group riding. Either the person up front is going to dictate, hey, this is what we're doing, and let's do it. So you need to have your indications of what you're doing well ahead of time for everybody to relay it. Okay, you're playing the telephone game here if you do not have a comm system. If you have a comm system, it actually works out really well. That way you can actually tell people, hey, this is what we're doing. So make sure we zone in. Okay, so zone in, do not zone out. That's what happened to the motorcycle rider in the back. Also wear full gear, AT-GAT, all the gear all the time. As we can see right here from this rider, he's not wearing very much gear at all. The only thing he's wearing is a helmet. And somebody made a comment on one of my videos saying, you know what, the great thing about GoPros and action cameras is that it's actually making people wear helmets. That's actually true. A lot of people will wear a helmet only to have the action camera on the head. I don't understand that. Wear gear all the time. And then have a group meeting. You know, maybe this is where this was destined to go. You know, the rider up front was like, hey, we're going to go here, and this is our first stop, so everyone know where we're going. So maybe the rider in the back wasn't paying attention. Maybe there was no group meeting. Maybe there's no proper group meeting. So these are all different things you need to really work on. So let's go ahead and move on to here. So we have slight indications of what's going on. This rider is just riding, speeding up to the next person, and the person in the back is doing their thing. Now, they're not going so fast or super fast. You see a 31 miles an hour on the speedometer from the person right here. And who knows, it could be even slower because it could be kilometers an hour. I'm going to assume it's miles per hour, so 31 miles per hour, not a big deal. But if I scroll back just a little bit, this is where the brake lights right here on this guy is not showing, and then we scroll over one frame and there it is. Okay, so brake lights, boom, indication that things are going to happen, whether he's going to slow down and just, you know, because he's the guy in front of him is in the way, or he's going to stop. You know, when you hit the brakes, you are making a decision. That's the things. And when we see car drivers apply the brakes or slow down, they're making a decision. Turn left, turn right, stop, accelerate, whatever it is. They're going too fast for what they think they can handle, so they're slowing down. So use brake lights as a good clue. So now right here, you have a terrible line of sight of what the rider in front of the one that's applying the brakes is doing. And this is where having a good line of sight is very important. Because right now, I can't tell if there's an indication for the person in the very front. I can't tell, you know, what he's doing because I cannot see him. So positioning yourself maybe all the way to the left side to lane position 1 right here would probably be the better spot. That way you can see around the rider. That is why you do a staggered formation. That way you can see well ahead of everything, okay? So single file, great for the turns, all that stuff, but start moving around so you have a better line of sight, especially if you start seeing brake lights. When we move to this section, that jump right there, so let's go back just a little bit. You see that massive jump right there? That is applying the brakes. That right there is causing very bad inputs to the handlebars. Okay, so now we're going to ride into the rider. And right there, you see how the rider does not have any gear. We're going to have that angular injuries that I was talking about, the mechanism of injury on this part, is that you're going to hit his legs. So typically what would happen is you're going to hit the rear tire or hit the rear fender, and that's going to take a lot of the kinetic energy right there, okay? So what's happening here is, though, is the flesh and the legs are taking all that energy. So you're going to have that angular injury associated with that. So you're going to have avulsions, which is basically your skin getting ripped off, and then now you have blood and flesh and tissue being exposed. And we're just going to have a bunch of issues here, and a lot of that could have been prevented with wearing full gear and not being in this situation in the first place, but full gear is what's going to help you out. So when we crash and then we get to this part where we're starting to look at and say, hey, what's happening right here? So this right here is going to show us what he really has. There's a reason why that shoe is off, and that's because the motorcyclist that crashed into him pretty much tore it off. The shoelaces are still attached, and they're still tied up, all that stuff. But that is the amount of force, and that is where he hit. That is why I look at the mechanism of injury right there. If you had boots, the boots would have stayed on and quite possibly would have not had any type of injuries to that. So we're going to move forward just a little bit, and here we go. This is his own cutting and editing, and we have bikes on the ground. We're having issues all over the place. Don't do that to your helmet. Leave your helmet or set it down gently. Lifting up the bikes, get everything out of the way, and that's what you have to do. Okay. I want to show so you guys, make sure we can talk about it. It's basically zone in, zone not zone out, group meeting beforehand, so you know where your turns are and we're full gear all times. This is a good video right here that I want to share with you guys. This is from Champ School, and I'm gonna be leaving you guys with this video. It's over 11 minutes. I'm gonna watch it myself with you guys, and I'll answer any type of questions that might arise from it. But this is gonna be a good one. This talks about
good. Thanks.
Hey, the other day I was watching some YouTube Nicky Mouse. You know it?
Oh yeah, seen.
What's going on with those?
Boy, especially the ones at the top of the rock store. That last corner, I've been through that corner a million times. You have too, and it shows riders running wide in the corner. That one hit bicyclists. I mean, it's a lot of drama up there. And it gets us back to why we're here at Indy Motorsports Ranch today. We shared one of the core values of riding a motorcycle well, which are in our champions habits, and that was 100 points of grip. But the second thing we want to talk about, and that is in this video, is a core principle of riding well, certainly of our school, and that is a pretty simple equation: radius equals miles per hour. So here's what we did. We put Mark on a motorcycle. And what were you doing out there?
Nick, my job was to go run one radius. Wasn't a speed thing. Bottom of second gear on my FC10. I set one radius, one throttle setting, one lean angle.
Very good. Lean angle is risk, so he's running one risk level. And Mark, you're running that lean angle. You're running that lean angle because you might have been brand new and afraid to lean over any further. It might have been raining and tires don't have the grip.
The 100 points of grip went down.
100 points of grip was down. Might have been on a bike that drags its pipes, and you literally couldn't lean over any further. So you were set in your radius at one throttle setting. And when we say maintenance or neutral throttle, what does that mean?
To me, it tells me I'm not accelerating or deaccelerating. I'm holding an even throttle, maintenance throttle.
Good, and we'll see. As Mark held his speed, his radius stayed the exact same.
Right, no drama.
Yep. So then I jumped in the picture, and what did I do to you?
You told me to accelerate. So we added energy to that equation.
See that?
And immediately my radius opened. I did hold the same lean angle, but the bike went into a wider circle.
Exactly.
And boy, that inherently we know this. All riders know this, but they've been taught some weird things. So Mark, we watched you accelerate, and did you think about your swing arm angle changing to have your bike steer better, or did you think about this very simple equation, radius equals miles per hour?
Radius equals miles per hour. I'm not trying to think about my whole geometry of the motorcycle and what's going on there. Again, radius equals miles per hour is going to be in my priority list, so I know that if I open the throttle, the thing wants to go wider.
So now we're getting to the core values in our sport. And certainly the way we teach it, the way the best riders in the world ride, you can't truly accelerate your motorcycle, truly pick up mile an hour. And I mean, you can pick up a little mid-corner, but truly accelerate your motorcycle until two things happen. What are you thinking now?
The two things that have to happen, I've got to be able to see my exit and take away lean angle, take away risk.
See my exit, take away lean angle. So you can see as the riders get into the videos that our Nicky Mouse shot, they get mid-corner, they can't see the exit yet, the corner's not opened up yet,
right?
But they're adding throttle. And what does their bike do?
Washes out.
Runs wide, washes out, loses grip. It washes out because they add lean angle points as they add throttle points. 100 points of grip. Go back to that video. If you didn't watch that one, watch it closely. Or radius is mile an hour. And we saw your bike run wide just like it would at the rock store because you accelerated with the plan for your bike to run wide.
Right. I could have tried to add lean angle to that equation.
Got to chill up your spine, everybody. He's going to add lean angle as he adds throttle. Ride a dirt bike and do that. Pick yourself up out of the dirt, dust yourself off, and realize that that's not going to work for very long. So that was great, Mark. We got a good feel for that. Then we got you back into your circle. We got you back into your corner.
Yep.
How much throttle were you using to hold your radius again?
Neutral maintenance throttle.
And how long will you use that?
Until I'm happy with my speed and direction.
So we got you back in your circle, and then I gave you a prompt. What,
Right.
what did I say? What did you do?
This time you wanted me to take the energy out, so de-accelerate. So what I did for our example was I pulled in the clutch and came off throttle and used no brakes. So the thing de-accelerated, we slowed down, and finally came to a tighter circle. It did tighten up.
So you slow your motorcycle to tighten your radius
Yes,
at the same lean angle. That's the secret.
that's what I did.
Your mid-corner downhill right-hander, traffic coming, and the corner tightens up.
Right.
And you slowed your motorcycle to tighten your radius.
Right. That's what I showed you. But Nick, it didn't work very well. I wasn't as pleased as I wanted to be with it. I left out of control. I want to be able to use my brakes.
Now we're getting to it, and if you're sitting there going, man, these guys are crazy, they're going to use their brakes in the middle of the corner, you got to get back to our 100 points of grip and how we pick up brakes and how we
Right.
practice the brake light initiative and all those things. So Mark, you were mid-corner, you saw the corner tightening up, you rolled off the throttle, and you picked up some brakes, front and or rear,
Correct.
depending on wheelbases and skills. And what percentage of brakes do you think you picked up?
Just a few points. So the bike steered very easily.
One of the core values that
So he's saying he got that effect with just slowing down, pulling the clutch, no added throttle, because the clutch removes power to the rear wheel, and he got the same effect of a decreased radius. He also says he got the same effect right now. It's actually even a better effect by using brake pressure. So you can get both of the same thing from both. It's just that in different situations, like the situation of you go into the turn and it's just like it's too sharp, so now you can't slow down before the turn, so now you have to use trail braking. But if you know ahead of time and you are a defensive rider, you can slow down before the turn and get the same type of radius control. You get the same radius control, if not a little bit better with trail braking. So yeah, trail braking can be a better tool to use, but like I said again, it's like the screwdriver. We're using a hammer most of the time. Use a screwdriver when there's a screw for the situation.
that'll have you a fantastic rider realizing radius is mile an hour. As Mark approaches the corner, he rolls off, goes to the brakes when he gets nervous. And Mark, you slow your bike with the brakes how far? 33%
Right.
of the corner given the apex divided by the length of the...
I go out with a tape measure before each ride and make sure I know exactly what all these dimensions are.
No, you don't. Sarcasm.
I brake, sarcasm. I brake till I'm happy with my speed and direction.
I'm sorry?
I brake till I'm happy with my speed and direction.
Let's go back to that 100 points of grip video. So Mark rolls off the throttle onto the brakes when he gets nervous. He picks up his brake pressure and he turns the bike in with the brakes. He gives away braking points as he adds lean angle points. He's trailing off brake pressure as he adds lean angle. If he's holding lean angle because he's happy, he stays with the brakes, holds the brakes, that's fine. And you use them till you're happy with your speed and direction.
Right.
So you come down into the corner, you got your brakes on lightly as much as you need to, turn it in, when you're happy with your speed and direction, you come off the brakes, you go back to neutral throttle, you hold your radius until when?
Till I can see the exit and take away lean angle.
Drive it off.
Yep.
Next corner.
Next turn.
On the brakes, you turn it in, happy with speed and direction, go to neutral throttle, there's the exit, drive it off. Next corner, two-stroke. Use the brakes, go to neutral, you drive the thing off, and you get to the top of the canyon having the time of your life.
Right.
What Mark showed here on the motorcycle is one of those core basic priorities we're going to put right at the top of riders. We're going to
Right.
think about 100 points of grip, vision, focus, and radius equals miles per hour. And you start to ride your motorcycle based on this. You start to adjust your speed for the corner radius as opposed to hoping the corner matches your speed. Ride the bike the way it was designed to be ridden by the expert rider who designed it. An expert rider does understand radius is a mile an hour. And then
Right.
an expert rider does realize the tire's got a limited amount of grip divisible between brake pressure, lean angle, and throttle. And as we get these ideas across to more people, all boats rise as the tide rises, realizing this very simple equation, but important equation. Here's a question for you, Mark. You're an expert lever rider, two-time #1 plate holder in Colorado. Where is radius equals miles per hour in your priority level in your riding?
Nick, radius equals miles per hour at the very top of it. I'm always thinking about it, and it goes both ways, whether I'm trying to match the radius to my mile per hour or whether I'm trying to work the mile per hour to match a radius, I'm still thinking about it.
When you just closed your throttle in radius equals miles per hour in the parking lot, how well did it work?
It didn't work that well until I went to the brakes, right?
Mark, we put a cone to tell you where to get off the brakes, and this wasn't your choice, this was our choice.
Right.
And this was because we believed in straight line braking, get all your braking done before you turn in the corner, which are things that I know our viewers have heard before, are being taught out there. And how did the first one go?
When I had to give up the brakes, it felt like I was just a passenger. I was along for the ride.
If I didn't have a cone there, what would you have liked to do?
I'm going to brake till I'm happy with my speed and direction. So I'm going to trail off the brake as I add lean angle.
And that's the next one.
Stay in that control.
Perfect, and that's the next one we look at. We watch how long Mark uses his brake light down in the corner. And what we're trying to get away from is that rote way of riding a motorcycle. Do all your braking in a straight line, let the brakes off here. Remember, we're going to go to the brakes.
That's correct. But let's take a look at his speed going to that turn. So this is a 90-degree turn. So quite typically, if this is a 90-degree turn, we're going to watch out for cross traffic. So what you're going to do is you're going to slow down and come to a stop, quite possibly. If there's a stop sign, definitely do that. Even on this type of turn, I would stop, and then I would take a quick look. So watch how he goes through it. If you go through it way too fast, you make a mistake and you go through it fast, you see how even with his expert riding skills, he had to put his foot down as like a natural reaction, and he barely made the turn. He didn't go into his lane. He went super wide. So that is the situation where, yeah, trail braking is amazing, but what I saw is he went too fast into the turn. This is a 90-degree turn, and he went wide. That's why. So if there's ever an instance where you are going too fast in something like this, trail braking and breaking through most of the turn is going to save your butt. And that is where I say it is needed. It is not needed in a situation where you slow down prior to the turn.
Choice.
So watch him
And
go
this was
through this
because we believed in straight line braking. Get all your braking done before you turn in the corner, which are things that I know our viewers have heard before, are being taught out there. And how did the first one go?
When I had to give up the brakes, it
See how
felt
fast he's
like
going?
I was just a passenger. I was along for the ride.
If I didn't have a cone there, what would you have liked to do?
I'm going to brake till I'm happy with my speed and direction. So
Yeah, he
I'm going
went
to
super
trail
wide. He
off
was
the
going
brake
fast.
as I add lean angle.
And that's
So he's going fast in the turn at the same speed. If he adds trail braking, he's going to make it. So that's where it's needed.
the next one.
Stay in that control.
Perfect, and that's the next one we look at. We watch how long Mark uses his brake light down in the corner. And what we're trying to get away from is that rote way of riding a motorcycle. Do all your braking in a straight line, let the brakes off here. Remember, we're going to go to the brakes when we get nervous, but we're going to use them until we're happy with our speed and direction. So Mark, you came down towards the corner and you rolled off the throttle because you realized, okay, I've got to bring my speed down. You picked up a little bit of brake lever.
Right.
And where you did that was pretty much dependent on your judgment of the speed in the corner, whether you were getting a little bit nervous about the speed in the corner. You picked up your brakes, but how far did you use your brakes?
I used them till I was happy with my speed and direction.
This is a big part of radius equals miles per hour. If we bring our mile an hour down a little bit too slow into the corner, we're not hurt. Nobody gets hurt.
Right.
And if the corner tightens up, we can continue to bring that mile an hour down. So Mark is not going to let go of his brakes, which are his speed control and his geometry control, until he's happy with his speed and direction. And we all realize, okay, I've got to be smooth on the throttle, I've got to be smooth on the brakes. But we're adding into everybody's priorities that we've got to steer the bike smoothly as well. Because, Mark, you're counting on trailing brake pressure into the corner. So you don't want to upset that contact patch getting back to the 100 points of grip.
I don't want to shock the chassis, and I don't want to surprise the tire.
And that's what new riders do. That's what beginners riders do, is that when they start to apply trail braking, they shock the chassis and they surprise the tire, which will cause somebody to dump the bike. This is where knowing how to counter steer, this is where knowing how to solo press and roll, where you start to master that skill, then you can add in something. So now that you are smoothly steering, smoothly accelerating, smoothly braking, now you can apply smooth steering and braking all at once for trail braking.
Instead of having Mark brake to a point and get off the brakes at a point, which is being taught out there, we had Mark use the brakes till he's happy with his speed and direction. If we turn the canyon around, we get to the top of the canyon, have breakfast, we're heading back down the canyon, are we using less brakes or more brakes riding down the canyon?
More brakes going downhill.
Right,
We're
so
loading the tire.
There we go. When we roll off going up the hill, that radius mile an hour works well because we just roll off, the road's coming into the bike slows better. Going down the canyon, add brakes. I would say 100% more brakes. I use twice as much brakes going down the canyon as up the canyon because radius is mile an hour and we can keep adjusting our speed to that. You know, Mark, we were talking about videos, about the Rockstar videos, but this gets back to the Will Ferrell video on Saturday Night Live, more cowbell.
Oh, more cowbell, for
more
sure.
Cowbell. More cowbell. Come on. You know what we're saying? We're saying more brake light. We got to see more brake light in the sport. We got to see more brake light on the street. More brake light affect your speed to adjust your radius by getting that brake light on.
Absolutely.
How about we do one more?
All right.
How about this? How about we put a passenger on the back with you?
I can't wait.
Okay. What did you do to adjust all that?
Well, Nick,
So real quick, Possible hazard, stall car, pothole, oil spill, gravel. This is where, what was the name of the game? Yeah, exactly. This is where trail braking really does help, because if you go too fast into the turn and you're not applying any type of braking, if you didn't see this ahead of time like he was going, you're going to hit that. But if you trail brake, especially if you see something like that, you have a better chance of avoiding it. So let's watch it.
You gave me all these issues. What you didn't take away was my ability to use the brakes. I was able to use that control, keep the geometry set, keep my contact patch on the front tire at the 100 points of grip where I wanted it to be, and maneuver through all your issues.
As your mile an hour came down, what did your radius do?
My radius can then get tighter and tighter.
In each case, he came in the corner, he had his component in place, his brake light was on, he left that brake light on, his radius tightened up, he went to the inside of all those issues, and whether it's a gravel in your lane, which we hear a lot, whatever the deal is.
So I want to say thanks for not giving me all those issues when you told me to get off the brake at the cone.
Well, I want to say, as the passenger, thank you right back for understanding this priority of Champions Riding School. This technique, this idea, this radius equals miles per hour core principle that Yamaha Champions School works so hard on, this is what will make happy riders, fun breakfasts, successful, healthy street riders, championship-winning road racers, and it will grow our industry.
Grow our industry.
Completely agree. Oh, wrong button. Completely agree. So I have been streaming for over two and a half hours, roughly 2.5 hours. It's time for me to get going, guys. So guys, with that said, thank you so much for joining the stream. If you would like to know more and you'd like to be a part of the DDFM crew, make sure you join Patreon. But this right here is the Discord. This is the Discord. This is a free service that I created with well, obviously with Discord, I'm a Discord partner, but with all the DDFM crew members. There's over 1,600 DDFM crew members, so if you'd like to be a part of that, please join up. This is absolutely free, so you can chat for free with me and a few others, okay? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'll be seeing you guys around. Here's the link to join, guys. If you join, it's going to show up on the Discord.